All right, there we go. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. I am Joe McDonald, the chair of the New York State Bridge Authority. We are here to convene our October board meeting. Appreciate everybody's flexibility for the changed date. I will call the roll and then ask for a motion to open the meeting. Maria Bruni.
Present.
Lanny Gilbert.
Present.
Alex Berardi.
Present.
Roger Higgins.
Present.
Freddie Garcia.
Present.
And I am present. We have a full board meeting. Do I have a motion to open the meeting?
So.
Thank you, Lanny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Roger. All in favor? Aye. Aye. The meeting is open. Before we immediately pause and go into the meeting of committee of the whole meeting, I'd like to welcome Michael O'Brien, one of our prior board members, to today's meeting. I have a little something for you at the end of the meeting. So, Alex, you are chairing the committee on the whole.
Do I need to do a roll again?
Right, yeah. Just to make sure we have a forum for the
Sure. So for audit committee, Maria Bruni,
Present.
Lonnie Gilbert,
Present.
Alex Berardi, I'm also present. Finance committee, Roger Higgins, Joe McDonald,
I'm here.
Freddie Garcia.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
quorum. We'll begin with the meeting minutes of June 12th, the finance committee meeting. Does anybody have any questions about them? If not, a motion to accept them as presented.
For the finance committee, so moved.
Thank you. Second.
I wasn't on the committee.
So I think
Oh, we had to, that's right, we had to have,
She was the only other member.
that is true, because Freddie wasn't on at that point. That's right.
Right, so you two are, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna accept the meeting minutes. Next up is the meeting minutes of the September 26th, 2025 audit committee meeting. Were there any questions? Then a motion to accept them.
Second.
Lonnie would be the first. Who else was on audit? Would have been Maria.
I was absent then.
Yes.
So I would have to abstain.
Can I give that a second? I was present.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I would give that a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting minutes are adopted. We have our third meeting minutes to accept, the September 26th finance committee meeting. That would have been Roger, Joan, and Freddie. So if no
And we
questions,
were all here.
so if no questions, a motion to accept. So moved.
Second.
Second, Freddie. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next up, Brian, the budget and financial plan for 2026 through 2029.
Very good, thank you. The budget and financial plan as presented is a requirement under state law. This plan consists of an extension of the 25-26 budget and estimated bridge system net revenues that was brought forward and approved in the prior month. We're running it on this schedule as required by, again, state law. Today, we're going to make it available for public inspection at each of the 5 facilities, as well as on our website for a period of not less than 30 days before the board will be asked to go and approve it at what is tentatively a December 2nd meeting right now. This plan reflects, as I said, the extension of those 2 years as it relates to operating expenses, but it also reflects, noted in the capital program, the increase in capital investment or capital projects, with an understanding that there's considerable uncertainty as we have not gone and received bids on the majority of the work identified in that program.
Questions, comments from the board?
I think it takes a little time to digest it, so probably over the next month. But this
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
right.
and the issue of the uncertainty in capital projects, I just want to, state for the record that that is not unique to the Bridge Authority. We are seeing the exact same things in Westchester County, where prices fluctuate on materials based on inflation, based on tariffs, and the cost of labor. So I hear from my former colleagues in New York State that they're seeing the same thing as well as at the MTA. So it is not unique to the Bridge Authority that there is fluidity, I guess is the best word, in our capital program. So, and it will be interesting to see how the bids come back for the bear. So
As I hear about other businesses
Mhm.
with insurance renewals at 15%,
Yeah.
healthcare at 31%, I am reminded that we already did insurance. That was
Yes.
very well done.
Yes, that's
Which
a
is
good,
great.
that's a good point. Get those things that we can lock in, the labor agreements for our own employees, those are all good things they bring certainty to our budget.
Please keep that attitude when I come with the bridge property policy.
All right.
So we're looking for a motion to accept this for public presentation for next month.
Yes,
So
Second,
second,
thank you, Joan. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. If there's no other business, a motion to adjourn the committee of the whole.
adjourn.
Second,
Again,
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Joan.
All right. So that concludes the committee meeting for today. We will open up the regular board meeting after pausing for the committee meeting. Chris, do we have any public comments scheduled?
No one today.
Okay, thank you so much. And we have no Community Appreciation Employee Recognition Award. Next up is the adoption of the regular meeting minutes of the September 26th, 2025 meeting. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, do I have a motion to approve and accept the meeting minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Alex.
Second.
Thank you, Roger. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
abstain.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Okay. Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Roger Higgins,
Sorry.
Freddie Garcia,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The meeting minutes are approved and adopted. Next up, Lauren is going to give the reports to the board.
It is quite a report.
It is quite a report.
Yes, so bear with me, please. Thank you, Chair, and good morning, everyone. So as far as internal affairs this last month, we did partner with the Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services to adopt our own transportation security and emergency preparedness training. So this is a training that was traditionally designed for airports and transit hubs, and we worked with the department to adopt it to our security and emergency preparedness processes. So this will allow us to address some of the challenges of managing and protecting our infrastructure, including incident response on our spans, and maintaining traffic flow during emergencies. So all of our security staff have already taken this training, and we're planning to extend it to the rest of our staff in future sessions. So as far as community engagement, we have entered into an agreement with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration organization, which is NOAA for short, to put in an air gap system in the Mid-Hudson Bridge. And this provides real-time clearance data between the water surface and the bridge span for vessels navigating the Hudson River. So this is a really great partnership with NOAA to allow better maritime safety, reduce the risk of bridge strikes, and give the vessel community as much information as they plan their trips. We're also working with NOAA and the Department of State to implement tests at the Rip Van Winkle Bridge, which we hope to get underway very soon. So one of the many initiatives that we've been working on looking into maritime safety and work with that community. As far as our suicide prevention efforts, this month we've established a partnership with the Ulster County Sheriff's Office on a pilot program to strengthen our efforts at our bridges. So this is a program where when we have successful interventions at our bridges with emotionally distressed persons, a term that I think we'll learn is changing today from Danielle. When we have those successful interventions, 911 will actually alert the Ulster County Sheriff's Office of those so that they can do follow-up with those members of the community and engage with them and provide them additional resources to ensure that they're getting more long-term connection to resources within the community. And this program is a kind of a spin-off of their Oracle overdose intervention program. So using the success and the methods of that program and implementing it in this way to support our efforts at the bridges. So we're very excited to get that program underway, and we'll keep you posted as that continues on. On October 3rd, our Public Information Officer, Chris Sieber, represented the Bridge Authority at the Friends of the Walkway Starry Night fundraising event. This is an annual gathering that supports the Friends organization to extend to sustain and expand their programs at the Walkway Over the Hudson. So we were very happy to attend and to support their efforts again this year. This year, we also hosted our second MWBE and SDVOB meet and greet event at SUNY Newburgh Orange campus, which I'd like to take a moment to congratulate and thank Frank Pavlin, who spearheaded that event, and it was a really great success. So round of applause. We had 4 agencies attend, including ESB and OGS, who oversee those two programs, along with DOT and the Thruway. We also had 13 contractors and consultants who were there cabling and engaging with the MWBEs and SPOBBs that came in attendance. And, we've gotten a lot of positive feedback about the event, about the great connections that are made and just kind of the environment of sharing of information and sharing of, how to do business within New York. So kudos again to Frank for hosting that event. Yesterday, our executive director Minoska attended the City and States New York's most critical transportation projects panel within their Reimagining New York's Transportation Future Summit. So Minoska has done this for a couple of years now on a panel with other transportation leaders talking about, what projects are looking for like going forward and, how we can promote, sustainable and, long-term projects as we, spend critical dollars on critical infrastructure projects. This month, myself and the director of polling, Jeff Weiss, both attended the IBTTA annual meeting in Denver, Colorado. We both presented, unfortunately, at the same time, so we didn't get to see each other's presentations. I heard my room was a lot fuller than yours.
No competition.
So I was able to present on our pet therapy program and how other organizations can implement pet therapy in the workplace. And Jeff presented on emotional API, emotional intelligence for the technical audience. Even more importantly, Jeff was nominated to the board of directors of IBTTA at the last meeting. So congratulations to Jeff. To Jeff. We also had a busy meeting, a busy month meeting with elected officials this month, engaging on what initiatives we have going on and, potential for collaborations going forward. So on September 26th, we met with Senator Rob Rollison at the Mid-Hudson Bridge. We gave him an overview of the Mid-Hudson Bridge East Approach project that has now started right on the east end here. And we also discussed, suicide prevention efforts. We talked a lot about, what we already do and, what we can continue to do to collaborate to enhance those efforts. On September 30th, we met with Assemblyman Bepan, also at headquarters. This was more of an introductory meeting, gave him an overview of everything we do, brought him over to the command center so that he can see. I think that's one of the things that you don't really know until you see it firsthand. And we, went over all of the things that we have going on at the Bridge Authority. And then similarly, on October 17th, we met with Assembly Member Shrestha at the Kingston-Rhinecliff Bridge, also giving an overview of what we're doing at the Bridge Authority. Lots of safety meetings this month. So NYSBA held its first knowledge sharing meeting with the DOT Hudson Valley Transportation Management Center. Not our first partnership with them. We've visited them many times and coordinated with them, but we started this kind of a set meeting to share knowledge on things like traffic monitoring, real-time communication, best practices, and just how we can continue to enhance our mutual support for daily operations. So we'll continue to hold those meetings with them. We also met with the Greene County Emergency Services to strengthen collaboration in Greene County. We try to, we meet regionally, but we also try to meet individually with each county and address those individual needs. So for Greene County, we've provided them access to our live NYSBA video feeds so that when they're responding during incidents, we improve the situational awareness of the officers that are responding. We've also started incorporating them into our tabletop exercises specific to the bridge that they serve, which is through a Bridge. And looking to continue to enhance the communications that we have with each county individually as well as, as a whole regionally. We also met with the Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Services as part of a monthly knowledge sharing meeting focused on, what are the recent developments, what are the upcoming initiatives and opportunities for collaboration and mutual support. We also, well, actually moving on, sorry, that was the end of our security meeting section. As far as community service, as you may know, last year Danielle was a recipient of the Hudson Valley Athena Leadership Award. This year, she was gracious enough to serve on the selection committee for this year's recipients and help choose the next group of leaders who are recognized through that really great leadership program. Also, Sheena Fitzpatrick, our manager of the Command Center, who was a leadership Duchess member last year, committed to mentor the class of 2026. So thank you to Danielle and Sheena for not only being recognized, but for helping to support the next group of recipients. As far as the travel, Danielle and Sheena traveled to New York City to visit High Vision to do some research on their video wall technology, as well as looking to upgrade and enhance what we do. For our strategic plan initiatives update, one of our updates this month is that we had an initiative to look into the feasibility of implementing tow trucks as part of our maintenance fleet. Something, looking into ways to enhance our response to incidents that happen on the bridge, and our ability to clear scenes as they happen for the flow of traffic. We looked into things like costs, operations, and other factors, and the findings were that the additional tow trucks would not be cost effective at this time or practical for us to implement. So, and that, our current practices have proven to be sufficient for clearing of the scenes, and we have a good partnership with the tow trucks that we currently work with in partnership with law enforcement. So we're going to leave things as is as far as our tow truck operations for now. As far as contracts, we're excited this month to be presenting 4 port security protection grants that we received as part of this year's grant cycle, totaling $265,000 in federal funding with a NYSBA share of $88,000. So these are grants that will support our Arctic Wolf Security Operations Center services, our identity management, as well as our drone detection capabilities with the drone sensors that we've heard about before, as well as deploying thermal peer detection cameras at the Newburgh Creek Bridge. So you'll hear more about those in the board items. We also have 3 additional contracts that you will hear about from our directors. For our finance update, the traffic report, the traffic in September 2025 was 5.7 million vehicles, a 2.2% increase over September 2024, which represents the highest September traffic in the past 5 years. The year-to-date September traffic is 48.9 million, a 1.75% increase over 2024. The Easy Pass utilization for September 2025 was 93%. We had traffic included 92.3% passenger vehicles and 7.7% commercial vehicles, which was a slightly higher commercial traffic from September 2024. The total revenue for August 2025 was 7 million compared to 7.9 million in August 2024. So this is a slight decline. This is partially due to some unused commuter trip fees that we had received last year that we did not receive during that month this year due to the transition that was happening this year, as well as some decrease in tolls by mail fines and some higher than expected tolls by mail receivables. The August 2025 toll revenue was composed of 6.2 million Easy Pass traffic, 412,000 in tolls by mail, 307,000 in fines and fees, and 101,000 in overweight fees. As far as Minoska's activity, she had no activity to report to the board this month.
Okay, yes, Roger, question.
Or somewhere in that extensive report was the mention of tall ships coming up.
Yes,
250.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do we
So-
know anything more about that? Enlighten
Well,
us if you have
Yes,
any-
so there's a celebration coming up for the, and Danielle probably can speak better to it, next year, and it's the 2025.
Is it the Rev 250?
Right,
Yeah,
right, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to expedite actually the implementation of the air gap system so that it's in place for when that happens. And I know that we'll be working closely with Coast Guard and others on the planning of that initiative,
so they're
obviously.
planning a tall ship sail like they've done that in the past.
Yeah, so
There's
there's
some other
basically a
things.
giant celebration
Yeah.
and it's mostly located in the city, but there are some
Right.
Some
ships
that are gonna
coming
come
up
up.
here.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to get our systems in place before they come, but with the government shutdown,
Yeah.
we haven't been able to move that forward in the past couple weeks, so.
And we had a standard clearance, but about 140 feet generally for most of the bridges, but then depending on the tide at the time,
Ah,
it varies.
okay.
And we're on weekly planning calls with the Coast Guard and the Safety and Security Subcommittee for that, so they're aware of everything. We're in constant communication.
All right. Other questions from the board? All right, thank you, Lauren. We have no administration items, so next up, engineering and maintenance, Eric.
The First, engineering item it's a procurement for our street sweeping. And we put out for bid, a contract, RFP. We received, we got 4 vendors who requested the big package, but we only received 1 bid, and the low bidder being East Coast Industrial Services. And the cost for the proposal is a cost not to exceed $65,250. And that works out to be, we have about 45 days of sweeping that we were requesting, so that works out to be about $1,450 per day. This is a 1-year contract with the option of 3 1-year extensions. And this proposal actually brings us back to a price which is lower than the status where we were previously, because the previous contract was let, but with the escalation of the extension that we had in the previous contract, this brings us back to a base price, which is lower than what we were paying previously. So I'm putting this to the board for approval.
Okay, questions? Roger?
Eric, any thoughts on why just 1 bid, Mr. Chairman?
It's not necessarily why just that 1 bidder put in their cost, but generally speaking, the equipment itself is so specialized that sometimes they're committed elsewhere to counties, and so maybe they just try to see which would suit them better, but they're probably committed to counties who don't have their own equipment, so specialized that.
It's good to hear that that we're back, that the cost.
Yeah.
Is it possible that we could have, the thought of, with options to extend it, for renewal or?
This contract also has the option for 3 1-year extension.
Okay.
And it's probably gonna be that cycle where the escalation will take us higher at the end of that contract. The contract's going over.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve and adopt the contract, the resolution?
So,
Thank you, Roger. Second, Lanny. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Ferrari,
Aye.
Roger Higgins, Freddie Garcia,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, CSX Railroad Agreement.
CSX railroad agreement, as you're all aware, we have a Bear Mountain redecking project coming out. There's a span under which a CSX railroad crosses, and that's a heavily trafficked section of the line. And during our construction phases, there might be times when we're gonna be preparing formwork and shielding. So we need CSX's services to be able to give us flaggers to make sure we don't interrupt their services and we don't, and make it safe for, the contractors. So we have a proposal with them, for flagging services at a cost, not to exceed, $124,000. And again, this is, as needed basis, so we will definitely be limiting the usage, to only as needed basis. But generally speaking, the fact that we actually got them to commit to
Yeah.
the services is a plus, as railroads are usually infamous.
There's a reason
to
for the
even
phrase,
get
we've
that.
been railroaded.
So we're glad we have it, and then I'm putting this to the board for approval, so we lock in their commitment.
Two
the contract.
questions.
Yeah.
This is for the west side
For the
only,
west
correct?
side only.
Because it doesn't, even
On
though
the-
they go up the east side on Metro
I'm
North,
sure.
but.
Yeah,
and
that's in a tunnel, so we're not
Good.
affected there.
And will there be something in the bid documents that references that references the agreement? Because I want to make sure that, we've gotten CSX to commit, but that whoever is the successful bidder on the construction knows what the terms are with CSX.
Yes, there will be, and what we normally do for agents is we don't leave it up to the contractor to get.
Good,
So we
good,
get it
yeah.
up front, and it's part of the bid package.
That
knowing
they
it's already-
receive, that
yeah,
they'll receive. Good.
That's already available in place. So I'm
Other-
putting this to the board for
Other
approval.
questions from the board? Do I have a motion to approve and adopt?
So,
Thanks, Lanny. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Maria. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Roger Higgins,
Aye.
Freddie Garcia.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, Sarah.
Next up is a report on the traffic accidents. And what we've generally tried to do is to see if there's any, we try to review the descriptions in the accident report to see if there's any design features or any roadway conditions that are contributing to the accident. That way we could take some corrective action. But in analyzing this third quarter report, it's consistent with previous third quarter reports, and we compare the quarters just to make sure there's no difference in weather condition that would be a contributing factor. And what we find based on the description, it's really a driver behavior issue. And we have 76 accidents system-wide. Most of the accidents occur here at the Mid-Hudson at about 32 accidents of the 76, about half of them.
Yeah.
And that's generally due to the driver
Impa-
behavior. I won't categorize it.
impatience.
I won't categorize it. The
Yeah.
driver behavior on the merging for the peak hour setup that we have here. So just reporting that it's consistent with the past and there's no design feature or roadway feature that's other than the transition that they have to make. But we can't make the bridge any wider right now,
No, we
so
Unfortunately.
that's what it's gonna be. And from basing on the reports, we do have a few description that say some of the patrons have been taken away in ambulances, but there's no
No
feedback
fatality.
on us. So that's just a report. To the
Right,
board.
no vote.
On both points.
And the monthly jobs in progress.
Monthly jobs in progress, as I previously mentioned, we are coming up for the Bear Mountain. We're working towards 100% plan submission by mid-November. We'll take a final review and set that out to bid, say, for the month of December. And then by the end of that, we'll know.
We'll see we'll see what they come in.
What they come in at.
Are you going to have a pre-bid conference with the contractors?
I don't think this one, was scheduled. I have to.
I'd like you
look
to
at
talk
it.
to Thornton Tomasetti, because it, that sometimes generates additional interest, and you get a sense of what contractors are out there. And this
Yeah,
is, this is,
and
big- this is a big project, so I think that would be, you might want to have a pre-construction
Yeah.
conference.
I could say at the end of the.
Right, that's what I was
A lot of the
gonna say.
contractors were excited and waiting for that.
Good,
bid,
good, good,
that
good.
RFP.
I was definitely gonna reference that was one of the main reasons we were able
Great.
to try to put it together.
Great.
So initially also, because a lot of the, not a lot, but sometimes the contractors were saying they, due to their due diligence, they couldn't find the WND, so where.
Right,
We made.
you made the marriage.
We made
Yep,
the
yep.
marriage.
Good. All right,
And they-
questions, comments? Oh, no, I'm
Well,
sorry,
no,
you're not
sorry,
done.
no.
Right, we just talked about.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
mid Hudson Bridge, east end approach, probably you drive, commissioners drove over it. You probably didn't see any activities on top of the road, but there's activities going on. They're doing survey, they're doing some initial, demolition, and making some access portals, in the bridges. So work is ongoing, and, we actually have tomorrow our first progress meeting.
Great.
And the next item is the Hudson Valley Bridge Contractors. That's our on-call contractor. They're assisting us at the various bridges to work on some of the repairs that we found in the bridge inspection reports. And my engineering report.
Okay, questions, comments on the monthly jobs in progress? All right, do I have a motion to approve and adopt?
So moved.
Thanks, Lanny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Alex. Maria Bruni?
Right.
Oh, Freddie, sorry.
Yeah.
I saw you. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Roger Higgins, Freddie Garcia,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, Brian.
Morning, thank you. First up is the monthly investment report. There are 8 investments, all routine. You'll notice with declining interest rates, while we were up pushing 5s before, we're now pretty solid in the 3s. Several investments, those are all reflected on the next page in the investment inventory report. Currently, the maintenance reserve fund stands at a balance of $138 million available to support the capital program. Interest income and yields consistent with the decline in prevailing market interest rates. We're seeing, a decline month over month from 4.45 to 4.02. And obviously that's going to drop into the 3s along with the rest of the investments that we're seeing on the spot prices for each transaction. However, we're still making pretty good money. We made $596,000, and that will bring us well past our $6 million budgeted amount for investment income for the year.
Questions, comments from the board?
No.
Motion to approve and adopt?
So moved.
Thanks, Alex. Thank you, Roger. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Roger Higgins,
Aye.
Freddie Garcia,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The investment report is approved and adopted.
Okay, next up is the annual workers' compensation renewal with the deferring of, with the change in schedule for the board. It actually renewed on October 21st. We have a grace period there. So what we're asking for is for the board to renew the policy for the year. It runs annually from the 21st to 21st. Basically, the board doesn't approve the actual amount that we spend. They approve the rates on the policy because the final workers' comp rates, the final workers' comp payment, if you will, is based on actual payroll. So until we finish a year of payroll, we don't know what that is. And that has to be audited as well. For this year, we base everything off of our estimates of payroll for the coming year. For this year, we're at $264,039. This is a pretty big increase. It's 26.2%. We have seen some deterioration in our claims rating. The experience modification is a factor that's used in computing the premium or rates for us, if you will. That went up, and the authority is implementing corrective measures to try to drag that accident experience back down. In addition to that, we saw offsets, significant offsets. The premium rates that were applied, some of that comes from the state board, sets the rates by category. Our rates are noted, our categories of payroll are noted in the memo. In addition, the New York State Insurance Fund gave us an upfront discount, which is probably the highest I've ever seen. It jumped from 32% to 38%. They call it the upfront discount. And then in addition to that, we have some other minor elements. There used to be a construction fund or a construction credit that you used to obtain, that they changed the process. They're only willing to go and apply that at audit now. So overall, it's somewhat of an increase. We're optimistic we're going to go and improve our accident experience, and you're improving the rates, not necessarily the amount we'll pay, because the resolution specifically states subject to audit.
Okay. Makes sense. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Lanny. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Roger. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni? Aye. Lanny Gilbert?
Aye.
Alex Berardi?
Aye.
Roger Higgins?
Aye.
Freddie Garcia?
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up.
Okay, the last item is the Accident Review Committee third quarter report. There were 79 accidents in 30 facilities in the third quarter as compared to an additional 7. It was an increase of 7 over prior year, over 9.7% increase. There were 72 in the prior. There were 3 accidents involving authority staff in authority vehicles, none with injuries. Those are all detailed in the report. So from the Accident Review Committee's review of those incidents and the actions taken. On a year-to-date basis, we had 183 accidents compared to 182, so we're still pretty close, and we made up for it a little bit in the third quarter as the prior quarters were less. This information is accompanying the information that was provided before. There's no action required by the board.
Okay. Any questions for Brian? Thank you, Brian. We have no HR issues. So next up, IT, Mark.
So as Lauren pointed out, in collaboration with Command, we submitted a number of grant proposals. The first of which for us was for bringing in Okta Identity Management that provides better provisioning, deprovision of user accounts, single sign-on, especially for the growth of cloud-based applications. So managing things that are not within our control is more problematic. And so with this particular initiative, the total cost of the purchase would be $55,300, of which $42,225 would be covered by the grant. And therefore, the remaining NYSBA cost would be $14,075. Now, this particular project won't occur till 2026, but for us, we have 60 days to actually accept the grant. So I'm asking for board approval to accept the grant. When we get time to actually do the purchase, we'll come to the board and actually go through that. This also, the way the grants are, is that NYSBA has to pay the upfront costs and then we get reimbursed for the grant portion.
And does the grant money go from the federal government to Homeland Security to us, or does it come directly from the federal government to us when we get reimbursed?
It comes from the federal government.
Okay. Because I know depending on which program it is, they have different rules. Questions,
Yeah, I
comments?
just, well,
Yep.
just the math issue, 42,225 plus 14,075 exceeds 55.
Oh, did I? I apologize. Is there a math error?
Yeah, I think so. I just don't.
Well, at this particular point, let me at least say that
56, yeah, oh, it is 56.
The resolution says 56,300.
Then that's
oh,
correct.
it's 56. Okay. Oops.
Okay.
Well, at this point, I'm not asking for the amount. I'm asking for approval of the grant. So my apologies.
That's okay.
Yep.
Well, I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Roger. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Roger Higgins,
Aye.
Freddie Garcia,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted.
So the next one is similar in nature. Our article of security operations that provides centralized services to deal with security issues and organizational and technical training. They provide 24/7 monitoring for for us. So this is an actual renewal. So the renewal cost, which again, this one won't occur till December, and we'll come to the board when we actually get to the purchasing process of it. The annual renewal is $95,698, of which the grant will cover $71,774. And therefore, the NYSBA remaining amount would be $23,924, assuming I didn't make a math error on this one. But along these lines also, we're asking for approval of the grant award, but we won't actually make the purchase until December sometime.
Questions, comments? Do I have a motion?
Also moved.
Thank you, Roger. Second, Maria. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Roger Higgins, Freddie Garcia,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted.
The next one is the renewal of our learning management software. Apparently, the original purchase had come under the $15,000 limit, but now the renewal is above that. So we're asking for the board to be able to renew this software. The total cost is $16,993.17.
Questions, comments?
What type of training program?
It's really kind of across the board. So we have the required training from GOER, right? But also command and maintenance have training involved as well. We can place our own training if we do it. So it also allows, I mean, there's thousands of titles out there. So an individual can take training beyond what's just required. So for their own, betterment, so.
It allows like supervisor management, allows to see certificates people have received. So it's just a way for us to manage what trainings we're doing in a centralized place.
Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Alex. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Freddie. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Roger Higgins.
Aye.
And Freddie Garcia.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted.
So the next one is for network mapping analysis remediation. It's not uncommon for any organization for the network to kind of grow somewhat organically from its initial design. We're not really unique in that particular case. So we've had a proliferation of cameras and sensors and so forth and so on. More recently, we've encountered a number of issues we've not been able to really determine the root cause of. And this is often more visible to latency sensitive applications like audio or like video and audio voice traffic. So we're looking to bring in someone to assist us in not only mapping the current infrastructure, identifying issues and remediation, but also mapping where we should go in the future with this, as we also look for increases in redundancy and other things. So we submitted an RFP out there. We had 39 interested vendors, 13 submitted proposals, 3 responded as no bids, and 1 was a late submission. After evaluating the proposals, 6 were considered non-responsive as they did not fulfill the RFP requirements or did not provide a final cost. Therefore, the remaining 7 were scored for technical, past similar projects, quality of submission, cost, and MWBE status. At this point, after the scoring, we're recommending that the MWBE iSecure of Rochester, who scored the highest with a total cost not to exceed $26,400. They were not the lowest bidder. The proposals range from $97,220 to $120,140. However, the lowest bidder was an outlier as the median cost for proposals was around $40K. And they also scored the lowest of any category. So we're looking for board approval to move forward with this engagement.
Questions?
When I was reading this, the packet, preparing for the meeting, I was thinking to myself, well, that's a wide range, but I guess it's just this office, but you actually have many other sites, right?
So this includes all 5 locations.
Yeah.
And so, we don't necessarily want to tell outside sources exactly how we're configured.
Yeah, of course.
Right? But we gave enough information that we felt they could bid. So some of the bids The detail put together was way over the top. They must assume we have skyscrapers here, right? And others, I think, just kind of lowballed it and went from there. So some were very comprehensive and others were not. We had literally one person just give us a one-page response with an hourly rate. So they were really, the submissions were really across the board.
That's a pretty good price for how many sites you have.
Well, again, we know what actually has to happen for this, and so we anticipated a cost similar to what this bid actually came in, so it's not out, it's right in line with what we anticipated.
Good. And the firm is based in Rochester?
Firm's based in Rochester, but all the work will be done remote.
Yeah.
They'll be on site probably one day as we just give them kind of an overview of, so they can have a physical view of kind of what they're looking at, but all the work will be done remotely.
Do I have a motion to approve and adopt?
So moved.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Roger. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Roger Higgins,
Aye.
Freddie Garcia,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next.
So the next one, in July of this year, the board approved IT engaging an HBITS contractor to remediate a number of issues with in-house developed applications. And with any type of thing, where you're bringing in a person that's not familiar with the applications, it's always difficult to estimate how long it'll actually take. They uncovered a number of issues that we weren't aware of, and therefore they're not able to complete the work within the initial engagement. So we're looking to extend them for 5 weeks for a total amount of $13,200. So this is more of an FYI than actual approval, but because we're extending the contract, we wanted to let the board know, so.
It's a change order on an existing contract.
So do we need a vote on this? We should just as, okay.
Sure.
Questions? Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Roger. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Roger Higgins,
Aye.
and Freddie Garcia.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution adopted, approved and adopted.
And the last one is the renewal of the rapid toll system that is used for auditing. So it's a standard renewal. So the total amount is 17,000 even.
Questions? Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Freddie. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Roger Higgins, Freddie Garcia,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. No bridge operations items, command center, Danielle.
Thank you. So bringing back the grants, we have 2 more projects that we were awarded funding for. The first is for additional units in our drone detection systems, which we installed earlier this year at Mid-Hudson and Newburgh. And you'll remember when another thing here, but we're part of the Coast Guard's task force for drone detection, so we use the drone systems. When we initially installed them, we did a very basic configuration due to budget and a pilot program. The configuration works well, but we'd like to enhance it by buying 4 additional units, which we've been awarded funding for. So the cost of the 4 units is $46,000. 34,500 would be covered by the grant, leaving the remaining 11,500 to come from us. So we are asking for acceptance to accept the, or asking for approval to accept the awards and move forward with procurement.
This is great. It's a good way of finding out what's going on. Any other questions from the board? Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Thank you, Maria and Freddie. Call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Berardi, Roger Higgins,
Aye.
Freddie Garcia,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Danielle?
Thank you. And then my second item, again, is another grant award, and this one is for a current project we're in the design phase of. We're looking to install pier detection cameras at Newburgh Beacon. We have some coverage of the piers, but we need to enhance detection and install them at locations throughout most of the piers. This will help with situational awareness, being able to detect if there's something nefarious by one of the piers. In a small way, I can somehow relate this to that it will be helpful with bridge strike prevention. So we've gotten awards, but the funding awarded from the grant to cover 156 I'm sorry, the total cost of the project would be 156,622, with 117,497 covered by the grants. And our remaining cost would be 39,165. This is to cover the cameras, with the detection in it. We'd still move forward with the rest of the, construction and implementation would be the cost on us, but nice to get a little bit of funding for the project.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We take it. Questions, comments? Okay, do I have a motion to approve and adopt?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Freddie. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lanny. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Roger Higgins,
Aye.
Freddie Garcia.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, Jeff, electronic tolling.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My first item for today is the March 2025 Easy Pass cash tolling expenses from the New York State Thruway Authority. That is in the amount of $568,388.86. Breakdown is in your packet for cash tolling and Easy Pass. This will be the last, almost the last of our legacy contract pricing. We'll get about half of April will be in this the old contract, the rest will be the new contract. So it'll be a little different next month, or whenever we get April. This invoice does include $44,190.20 paid to the collection agency, Duncan Solutions. Actually, they go as professional account management for collection amounts collected in the last couple of months.
Questions, comments from the board?
The cost per transaction, so great.
It's going down.
It is. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Roger. Second, Lanny, call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Roger Higgins,
Aye.
Freddie Garcia.
Aye.
And I will recuse myself. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up.
Okay, this next one is the implementation costs from 2022 through September of this year. Conduit and T-Tech. So in their contracts for the implementation of the back office and customer contact center, Conduit and T-Tech were obligated to meet certain milestones, which were tied to monetary compensation, typical contractual obligations. The Thruway, these implementation costs are split between all the three agencies that hold contract with these two entities. Our percentage split, determined by the Thruway, is like generally just 2% of these costs. So the cost for implementation for these services is $895,098.89. That's from the last couple of years. Not all the milestones have been reached. They're still working on some, and those will be billed at a later date.
Questions? Do I have a motion to approve and adopt? Thank you, Alex. Second. Thanks, Roger. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Berardi, Roger Higgins,
Aye.
Freddie Garcia, and I vote in the affirmative. Oh, no, I recuse myself, sorry. The resolution is approved and adopted. We have no media and public information. Danielle is going to give her quarterly report to the board.
All right. Okay, so to review the operations for Q3 in 2025, I preface with there was not a lot of anything notable this quarter. Everything's been pretty consistent with previous quarters and previous timeframes in previous years. So I'll give you a quick overview, but then we have something exciting to unveil.
Uh-oh.
So looking at Q3 of 2025, again, pretty standard quarterly activity is in line with other quarters. The most activity of incidents at Newburgh and Mid-Hudson. Again, like most quarters, disabled vehicles have been the bulk of that activity. One thing I do want to call out that you'll see here is the PEC. This has changed, as Lauren started out the meeting with, this has changed from EDP. So EDP was emotionally distressed persons. The state has issued guidance and all of the agencies have been changing to adapt to this, which is really great because we've been talking about this in conferences and with the mental wellness community for years about the term being a little bit more sensitive. And so now PEC will formally replace EDP in all of our documents, and PEC is persons experiencing crisis. You may also hear it referred to as PEEC, which maybe is PEC instead of PEC. And that would be people, yeah, so we're just gonna go with PEC, so I don't have to say that every time, but so that would be people experiencing emotional crisis. So moving forward, that's what you can expect. So looking at Q3 here. Again, pretty standard. Our response times have gone down several seconds from last quarter. Last year at this time, the response times were less than we are today. But you know, when we take a deeper dive into why, traffic numbers, where things happen on the span, or when our ability to access them is obviously fluctuates based on the situation. So we don't have a large difference. And again, we are still going down from last quarter. So we continue to make good strides, and any time there is a variance in the time response times, we do take a look at why and what could cause that. Here you can just see broken out by month. This is again very consistent with last year at the Q3 of 2024. You know, the incidents are pretty standard. We had more traffic in July and August than in September, more activity. So the incidents have gone down a little bit. Again, they remain mostly at Mid-Hudson and Newburgh. And our equipment is continuing to work as expected. We do spend a lot of time calibrating things, calibrating our equipment, looking at our cameras to make sure that they are functioning as expected. So that also helps with ensuring that the systems are functional. If we look at 2025, you can see here, just broken out by quarter, where we've gone up in incidents from Q1 to Q2, and then again down in Q3. Q4, we're clearly nowhere into the quarter yet, but the incident levels remain pretty similar. So nothing concerning to report here. And then lastly, you can just see the overall trends throughout the year. So you see half of 2023 because that's when we started this dashboard. But you can see, you know, in most cases, 2025 incident levels are dropping from 2024. So hopefully we continue that downward trend with all of our efforts. Does anybody have any questions on this, or are you just too excited to see?
Yes.
Too excited.
I actually have one question, and I don't know why it just occurred to me. Since all of our bridges go east to west, do we track any incidents that may be the result of sun glare?
That's very interesting. We actually don't, because a lot of times that's not reported to us.
Right.
So we don't, unless we get that specific information from law enforcement that that's the cause of it, we don't. And a lot of times we don't get that information. We get accident reports like, I rear-ended Chris, but it wouldn't say, I could have switched it around. But we don't get the details that the driver said it's because of the sun glare or whatever.
Might be hard to differentiate sun glare and higher traffic flow, because probably the sun glare is happening.
That's generally when it is,
right?
and you know, I'm just, you know,
Right.
the way technology companies have kind of responded to certain things in the transportation arena, it would be
It would be
interesting to see if there were technologies out
Yeah.
there that maybe more on the vehicles to kind of help with that.
But anecdotally, my commute gets 10 minutes longer.
Right.
Whenever the
Yeah,
sun
whenever,
is-
right, if you're
Right
driving
at
into the
5:30,
sun, right,
yeah.
because you're kind of, you know, putting
It's
your head
bad.
above the
Yeah.
visor and
Yeah.
making, yeah.
Well, I think that's a great point, because as the industry evolves and we start to look at like connected vehicles and
Yeah.
the data we're gonna be able to get from that,
Mhm.
we're gonna learn a lot of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so for the big unveiling, this is exciting.
Is this a big reveal?
This is the big reveal. We have another dashboard. So, and this is just to show you, and I don't know that you'll want to see this quarterly, but we recently installed people counters at each of our sidewalks. So currently we had site logic sensors on either side of the walkways. So we knew when people entered and we knew when they exited, but if people entered as a group, it would count as one. So we weren't individualizing people, which made it kind of hard to keep track of activity levels. So these people counters specifically count individuals, which is helpful for us when we're looking at, you know, pack numbers, or if we see someone go out, it's a lot easier for us to track that they got off the sidewalk. So it also breaks out pedestrians versus bicycles. So if we ever want to see that type of activity, we now have it. Instead of
this today?
So we launched everything in September. We had to, and this isn't the best at representation in September because the bridges went online at different times as cameras were installed. But October, all the cameras were up, and this is pretty, this should be inclusive of all of October at least.
I think you're on the day.
Why would I be on the day? That's stupid.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because at first I saw 57, that.
Yeah,
Seems
well,
a
there's
lot.
actually, yeah, a lot of
Well, look at that,
activity.
that's a lot of
And a
people.
lot of it surprisingly
Wow.
comes from Rip Van Winkle, which is surprising because we see a lot of pedestrian activity at Newburgh, but when I start to break this down and you look at activity from Rip Van Winkle, 20,000 people, we started saying, what is this? That many people are out there. But we get the tour groups that come multiple times during the week. And
They're fair.
yeah, I've said there must have been 20,000 people at Skywalk.
Yeah, that's a Skywalk, right?
And then we can break it down by month, and we can further break it down by which end of the sidewalk they're accessing. So you can see,
The
you know,
bikers are commuters,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The walkers are more.
walkers are pretty leisurely. You know, we see a lot more on the west side at Rip Van Winkle, which is where the tour groups go. We can do it by direction. So this is a really helpful tool when we look at pedestrian activity and have accurate counts now. So thank you big time to Jeff and his team, Malin, and for
To Melinda.
to Malin.
So Malin did the Power BI.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good.
Yeah, it's really great.
And that was real time.
I say start charging tolls.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go, Steve.
Right,
That
right.
one.
That's great. I think, I would like to see that in the quarterly reports. So
Yeah,
does the board agree?
Yeah.
I think that
Sure.
would be great.
Yeah,
I
we
did not
definitely.
realize how large the volume was till you just
Yeah.
showed us this.
We
Yeah.
didn't either.
So you thought something was broken?
No, well, we knew there was a lot of activity. Again, it was surprising that a majority of it was coming from Rip Van Winkle because we watch a lot of pedestrians on Newburgh. And, you know, we knew Kingston would be low, Mid Hudson Falls were within where we thought, but Rip Van Winkle was very surprising because we don't think about the tour groups and the people who
No.
aren't actively using the sidewalk as pedestrians that we need to follow and in terms of their activity on
Right.
the sidewalk.
They
We
go
expect them
both,
to
they
be
go from both artists' houses across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's and it is, because it's not solid population centers on either side of the rifts,
Yeah.
so,
And prior to this, we were manually counting bicycles, so as you can imagine, that
oh, that's.
is not accurate
No.
or feasible. So we had a general idea, again, with the site logic detection, we had a general idea, but it was grouped. So this is gonna be really
In
helpful.
relatively real time, because
Yeah.
the first it was set on today.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's great.
Thank you.
Our data.
Yeah, yep. All right.
Check any comment?
We can waive the public comment period, you can make a comment.
Oh, okay. All right,
No,
I'm
you can
sorry.
make, no, you can make.
I was just gonna say, you know, talking with other bridge groups, I hope you guys appreciate just how outstanding some of those intervention and response stuff are.
Mhm.
I mean, you know, all the other groups talk like, you know, a lot of them even say, why would we even photograph it? Because we can't get people out there. Well, why would we even, I mean, it is exceptional.
Thank you, Michael. We have no attorney-client privilege. We have no old business, but we do have some new business. Michael, that's a good segue for the last item on our agenda. I think if you'll come on up. Here we go. In recognition of your service on the board, I will read the proclamation, and then I'd like all the board members to come up for a picture with Michael. Whereas Michael O'Brien admirably served as a member of the Board of Commissioners for the New York State Bridge Authority from 2020 until 2025. And whereas Mr. O'Brien, I can call you Michael, right? Don't I have to say, served as chair of the authority's Finance Committee. And whereas he served during a time of significant change for the authority as it transitioned to all electronic tolling. And whereas Michael was instrumental in expanding pedestrian hours at the Newburgh Beacon Bridge, so this was a timely honoree, demonstrating a desire to serve all sectors of the community, forge new connections, and enhance mobility options. And whereas he was always willing to go above and beyond his responsibilities as a commissioner, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners recognizes and thanks Michael O'Brien for his many contributions to the New York State Bridge Authority, his partnership with the board and staff, and his 5 years of devoted service to the people of the state of New York. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be placed in the permanent records of the authority. This resolution has been, do we have to do a motion to duly adopt it? Kevin?
I don't
It
think
is
I
a
got-
resolution.
I don't think I got the.
I don't know. So do I have-
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, thank you, Alex.
I'll
Do I have a
second.
second? Thank you, Lanny. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Roger Higgins, Freddie Garcia, and I vote in the affirmative. This resolution has now officially been adopted.
Okay. Wow, thank you for this, but more importantly, thank you, as I leave, I am really grateful for the time I got to spend with so many wonderful, really talented people. So thank you for that, first and foremost. I would reflect and say that I was never really supposed to be on the Bridge Authority Board. I had a friend's son who was staff to Governor Cuomo, and he needed additional resumes to be put in the screening process. And so he just used mine as filler, as he said, you know, police lineup, 9 innocent people, one guilty person, so he stuck mine in there, thinking, okay, you know. And Andrew Cuomo pulled it out, and I had this from 2 different people who were in the room, said, can you imagine what a raging pain in the ass a mergers and acquisitions analyst would make of himself at the Bridge Authority? Joan, I'll let you follow up. But so it happened. So I did bring, you know, my M&A thing, and you know, in mergers and acquisitions, you not only look at the assets you're buying, but you're looking at the function and the performance of the organization. And so coming in, I'm told that I asked questions. I'll take your word on that. And actually, very quickly concluded that the Bridge Authority really is a very high-performing, well-functioning organization. And if you look at your performance against both the charter and the mission statements in the decades, I mean, it's absolutely exceptional. And so to my successors, you damn well better keep that up. Can I get in the back?
No, you're
No,
the
you're
whole
not.
half.
There we go.
Well, you are the tallest.
Yeah, we're the
You're
tallest.
right, you're the kind of guy to do the front height.
I mean, I don't know how good when I get it, but you have to, it's always.
Just don't have
Oh,
to.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Ready,
Budget
Judge?
cuts, budget
Yeah.
cuts, Joan, government shutdown.
2, 3.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Actually, 5 years went that quickly.
It went-
Like
Yeah,
5
remember
years
the
of your
first-
life.
The first year and a half.
We were all remote.
Yeah.
Virtual.
And you and I were 2 buildings away from each other virtual.
Yep.
Oh.
Greece, that's when you were there,
Yeah.
so, yes, there we go.
Awesome.
Okay,
That's better.
so to conform to our 30-day plus public viewing of the budget, we will not have an actual meeting in November. We will finalize the date for the combined November-December meeting. Once we review all of the commissioners' availability for that first week. And it's, that first week, it's right after Thanksgiving. December 1st is the Monday
Yeah.
after Thanksgiving. So it's, yep. So we will meet then. We will approve the budget. And so do I have a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Alex. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lanny. All in favor?
Aye.
Today's